regards to you. So it's good to see everyone here today. Before we begin, I would like to announce a few rules. First, can everyone put their mobiles on mute? I'll give you 10 seconds. Second, please be mindful about what you say and make sure you don't say anything offensive, especially when it comes to sex, religion, and politics. And third, I hope everyone here can wear their mask because we are right in the middle of a wave. And if possible, can you also leave one chair gap between yourself and the person sitting next to you? Sorry, this is a little disruptive. Thank you, everyone. Welcome to meeting number 1306, the first meeting of the year. We have a wonderful theme. If you have the courage to begin, you have the courage to win. Now, I know everyone here has a resolution of some sort or something new that they want to attempt during the coming year. I know personally I want to make sure that I'm a little more prolific when it comes to building things or writing code. And you know what? That is a little scary for me because I keep wondering whether I'm good enough, whether the work I put out is good enough. But this year, the theme has inspired me. And I know that if I persist, I can definitely succeed. Now to start off our meeting, we have an important personality. She tells me that she wants to be a little more mindful this year, and she has practiced spending 5 minutes here and there, whether it's washing the dishes or whether it's doing something else, where she wants to focus and stay mindful. And we can all wish her luck in keeping this goal on her, for her. So with a thunderous applause, let's invite our president to give the president's address. Thank you so much for that introduction, Toastmaster Chaitra, and I wish you also all the very best for the term. A very good evening, dear Toastmasters and most welcome guests.
Good evening. Good evening.
We welcome you all to Bangalore Toastmasters Club. The Bangalore Toastmasters Club is the second oldest and second largest club in India. And ours is a community club where you will get to understand and listen to the speeches of an 18-year-old and a 72-year-old. So may I request all our members to give a big round of applause to our visitors. May I also request all the guests to please stand up, mention your name, and how did you hear about the Bangalore Toastmasters Club?
Hello everybody, my name is Vinay Raj. I was scrolling the Facebook and I got to know that Bangalore Toastmasters Club is held at St. Mark's Road. So that's how I came through, and I'm really keen to understand the community and look forward.
Yes, please.
Hi everyone, I'm Sumam. This is my fourth meeting as a guest, but I have also taken up a short speech crafter course. So I am planning to join Toastmasters soon, but I'm just trying to be consistent as a guest and then we'll take this step.
Welcome, Sumam. Yes, please.
Club. I heard about Toastmasters from my professor in college, and my interest was peaked when I watched the 2014 World Champion, Dhananjaya Hettiarachchi, give his speech, I see something. So I want to be a part of Toastmasters and I want to continue this journey.
I now declare meeting 1306 open. May I now request our secretary, Toastmaster Kirthana, to please present the minutes of the meeting.
Good evening, my dear Toastmasters and guests.
Good evening.
The last meeting of the last term, meeting number 1305, themed Winds of Change, and Usher was the word of the day, meaning mark of something new. The ex-Sergeant-at-Arms Toastmaster Kirthana started the minute of the meeting dot on time at 6:30 p.m., followed by our president giving the speech about a short story, how inevitable changes are through his lovely short stories, and our ex-secretary, Toastmaster Preeti, gave the minutes of her meeting in evergreen way. TM Toastmaster Guru Prasad, with his wonderful energy, conducted the meeting. Toastmaster Vishal, with his prepared speech about bringing a change in his lifestyle and also giving us a few tips. Post which, we had an education session by our DTM Dr. Rajdeep Manwani sir, who kept us hooked on to his speech with many short stories which gave away valuable lessons through cricket. We had a break in which snacks we relish sent by Toastmaster Sureka made our tummies happy, preparing us for table topic session conducted by Toastmaster Priyanka. She kept us on the edge with her wonderful topics, followed by evaluation session by DTM Prakash, a perfectionist termed by TM Modi, evaluated the session along with his staggered team with perfection. The awardees of the meeting are: staggered team player goes to Toastmaster Chaitra, best role taker DTM Prakash, both table topic and evaluator backed by Toastmaster Puneet, and best speaker goes to Toastmaster Vishal. Also, to bring in the new change, we had the installation ceremony on 2nd Jan, starting with the welcome speech by Toastmaster Varsha, and invocation by Toastmaster Vasumati. The 7 colors of the new committee being President Toastmaster Hannah, VP Education Toastmaster Smita, VP Membership Toastmaster George, VP PR Toastmaster Jainam, the Secretary Toastmaster Kirtana, Treasurer Toastmaster Pratik, and Sergeant-at-Arms Toastmaster Chaitra were installed by the Installation Officer Toastmaster Sumitra. We had speeches from the outgoing and the incoming President, inspirational speech from the keynote speaker Puneet Nandakumar, fun activities by Toastmaster Varsha and DTM Lalit. Awardees of the awards ceremony was conducted by Toastmaster Somshekhar and vote of thanks by Toastmaster Umakant, followed by a satisfying and delicious dinner. Over to you, President.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Kirthana, for that detailed description of the minutes. The theme of today's meeting is: if you have the courage to begin, you have the courage to succeed.
Madam, one second. We have passed the minutes.
Yeah. Any amendments to the minutes of the meeting?
No.
I hereby declare the minutes of the meeting 1305 passed. The theme of today's meeting is: if you have the courage to start, you will have the courage to succeed. If you think of it, it is think back on your life, every step you've taken is an act of courage. Something new you have stepped into, stepped out of your comfort zone to learn something new. It is an act of courage. I will give you one example from my life which I felt courage, in an extraordinary way. It's about my mother-in-law. Not that I'm very, amazed by her, but she has done something which can stand out. She is the second child of 6 children. There are 4 boys and 2 girls. When her mother passed away 5 years ago, her younger brother, was the executor of the will. And he misinterpreted an article in the will, just the word okay? And he interpreted in such a way that he gets 5 portions, and the girls, all the 4 girls, share 1 portion. And the same with the other brother. There were 2 properties which this grandmother-in-law of mine had. So all the 4 girls, though they were mumbled and grumbled and fought with the brothers, none of them took any action. But my mother-in-law, went a step ahead and took legal action. She not only filed a partition case, but she also put an injunction case on her younger brother to say that he cannot enter the property unless it is settled. So I thought that she was alone, though both her sons supported her, but it is she who has to go to the court time and again, stand in that witness box time and again. And that is, to me, was a great feat of courage. Another episode I would tell you, one of my colleagues in office, in October 2021, he fell prey to a fraudulent charge on his credit card. Somebody had swiped 33,000 from his credit card. And over the last 4 months, he's been on the phone with that bank at least minimum an hour a day. And now the bank is asking him not only to pay that 33,000, but they've also added the interest charges. And the collection department is so fierce in their approach to him. They said that they will take him to the cops and I will come to your house, so many things. But this boy had the courage to stick on to the fact that I have not given my OTP to anybody. I have not received an OTP, I have not given it the OTP. That was his only stance all throughout. And being say, if it was me, maybe definitely I would have tried to pay up that money because of that pressure of the bank. So I thought that also was a great act of courage. Toastmasters also is courage. It's courage as a skill we develop time and again when we come onto the stage. We develop for ourselves. To take the meeting forward, I'd like to introduce to you the Toastmaster of today. This gentleman I have great respect for. I met him the first time when he was the president of our club. And that time I was in the VP PR subcommittee. And every week for some time I used to send him the creatives. And every time he would send me a mail of encouragement, send me a line of encouragement. He has a great sense of humor. You would notice it in his speeches. And he's quite candid in his table talks. He was a great pillar of support during the last term to the entire committee. Please join me to welcome Toastmaster Vivek Vijayan.
For that gracious introduction. You have to live up to these kind of introductions is difficult sometimes. What comes to you when you talk about courage? For me, this word courage, by the time it distills in your mind, you are like 8, 9 years old, 10 years old. Otherwise, courage is just, spell courage, you are double G. Oh no, you get half mark gone and you get. No, otherwise, you don't know courage. Right? Courage is a very complicated word. I have not yet understood. My earliest thing that I remember about courage is this big tank and a man standing in front of the tank. Most of you must have seen the TM Square incident where a man just stood in Beijing near in TM Square where he was to be about to be run over by the tank. It stood. The problem with these kind of motivational images is that you are waiting for the tank throughout your life. And most of us don't get those tanks, and you think courage is only that. Standing in front of that, or joining some agitation against price rise, or something else. It doesn't really happen at all. So courage is of small things. You can have courage for things which you never knew. For nothing against it can be against your own fears. For example, in my class there was this very Gandhian kind of a very elderly Sanskrit teacher. His name was Mohan Master. We used to call him Mohan Master. So this Mohan Master used to be a big Gandhian. So once he told that, Gandhiji liked peanuts so much. So I am from a time that, peanuts etc. everybody likes. So there's one boy who was like hefty and all this, sir, who does not like peanuts? So I thought that this Mohan Master will again take a scale out and give a nice thrashing or whatever. Nothing happened. Mohan Master was he just sat there on a chair and started laughing. So that person, that was the first example of a courage for me. To stand up to Mohan Master and tell him something as natural as this. There's so many things that are spread to us, right? Nehru likes children. Who doesn't like children? Likewise, I'm not against anybody, but I'm just trying to tell you the kind of things that are told and how you can be against those. So, most of us are also courageous. Why do you think we are not courageous? We are pretty courageous for that matter. Most of you guess, if you have come here today, that itself it's courageous because you have come here to get rid of your fear of public speaking. Public speaking is the greatest fear on earth that anybody has known, and it's not easy for you to come all the way here. So, do we have first time guessing? First time? You have never been to Toastmasters Club. All right. So Toastmasters, what really happens in Toastmasters is we meet here, we congregate here every week, and the role takers change. Okay. So people do not know. Although it might look very commonsensical to organize a meeting, speak like this on a stage, etc., it's very difficult most often to speak on a stage or on public speaking or whatever that is. It's very difficult. But there are different types of public speaking. And since it becomes very difficult, so we congregate here and take different roles and go ahead with it. And I'll explain to you more about how this meeting goes around. So what was the genesis of all this? The genesis of all this was also a courageous person. So we never attribute courage to a person who really started Toastmasters. It was Ralph C. Spendley who started it 98 years back. He just started it. Why do I tell that he is courageous? He is courageous because it looked like a simple thing, right? Speaking. Who would start a club for that? The fear of failure, fear of being ridiculed will be so high that you won't start something as simple as that. Right? But it indeed was so helpful. It was so helpful that it has stood the test of time. Okay, we have Toastmasters Club is spread across 145 countries. See, there are very few brands in the world which are spread across 145 countries. There are like very few brands. And then it has stood the test of time, 98 years. Many brands have come and many brands have just disappeared. This is the only brand which is expanding. Okay, and you are one of the best brands of Toastmasters Clubs. This is the 25th year of this club. 25th year of this club. And it still is alive, kicking, and this is one of the finest clubs that you can ever have. So that's where we are. Now, if you, for the guests in particular, why this? What do I experience here at Toastmasters, in a Toastmasters Club? So you have several types of communication. Sometimes we come with a lot of preparation at your office or at school or whatever. You prepare a lot and then go present to somebody. Right? That's called prepared speech. Right? Likewise, we have a syllabus, Toastmasters has a syllabus, and you can choose one of the syllabus that you want, and you have to go through those guidelines and speak about it. Okay? Speak adhering to those guidelines. It's like a syllabus, school syllabus, exactly like that, except that it doesn't tell what to speak, it tells you how to speak. Alright? So we speak that, and that's called prepared speeches. That's what you will see. That's the main segment, okay, for which people prepare for weeks together and then come here, speak, etc. Then, most of the communication in life happens without any preparation. Even when you go to an interview, how much ever prepared you are, you still have things which are out of your control. And most often, you get asked questions by people without being told, you will not expect that. So that is so we practice here with something known as extempore, that we call it in our language as table topics, where the members are all, sometimes the guests are also called onto the stage and given a topic, okay, and they have to speak for a short duration of time. That's called table topics or extempore in the normal world. Right? After all this, every one of us has a problem with giving feedback. Okay? We don't like receiving feedback because we do not get feedback that is humane, that is empathizing enough. That is because we ourselves do not know how to give feedback. So we end up either not giving feedback or giving a really shabby feedback. So the next session, the third segment is known as evaluation. Okay? Evaluation is when we have again role takers who evaluate individual speeches, the prepared speeches which I told you just now, and the whole meeting as such. So at the end of the meeting, you have not only spoken but also have received feedback which you can take home. Okay? So then now we have a particular role known as the general evaluator. The general evaluator is a person who evaluates the entire meeting. So the meeting is not composed of just people speaking. The meeting is composed, even this stand comprises a part of the meeting. The snacks some of you had is part of the meeting. All these together are part of the meetings. Okay? So even the president's speech is part of the meeting. Everything is a part of the meeting. So who would look at it and give some feedback? So we have somebody known as a general evaluator. Now who is the general evaluator today? So this person joins Toastmasters after her voluntary retirement. Now, that's not very typical. The typical people are people who are going for attempting for a job change, who are in the early stages of their career, or who have some specific purpose. Now, this person joins after. Then she cultivates her own style of speaking, which again requires some courage, because you know it's very stereotypical. We all follow what others are doing here and just continue. But to go slightly different from the well-trodden path and take a completely different path, not completely, slightly different path, and now this person has developed her own style of Toastmasters. We call it as Teresa style of Toastmasters. Ladies and gentlemen, let me now invite General Evaluator of the Day, Teresa Mata.
Thank you, Toastmaster of the Day, Toastmaster Vivek Vijayan, for this wonderful introduction. Yes, as T-Mod said, General Evaluator. As a General Evaluator, my main job is to review and assess the club meeting from the beginning till the end, as it shows, from snacks till here and everything. And also the feedback with the commendation and recommendation. To do all this, I'm not only the one. I have team of S to the power 3, means super sweet 6. Who are these super sweet 6? Yes, now you all know S to the power 3? I'm a maths lecturer once upon a time. Let us listen today to Timer how she is responsible for monitoring time for today's meeting. Today's Timer believes that the courage is very, very important to truly enjoy this beautiful life. She also says we should have a fearless attitude where we will be able to experience the most amazing things and lead this fulfilling life. Yes, Toastmaster Sakshi, the Associate VPPR of last term, kindly explain your role, please.
Thank you, Sarasa ma'am. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
We know color codes are used in various forms in our lives. It's used in traffic signal to discipline the vehicles. It's used in football match to warn the players. And similarly, in Toastmasters, we use it to help manage the speakers their time limits. As timer today, I'll do this activity. I'll help the speakers manage their time by using color codes in form of these cards. For icebreaker speech, the time limit is 4 to 6 minutes. I'll flash green card at 4, yellow at 5 and red at 6 minutes. For other speeches, the time limit is 5 to 7 minutes. I'll flash green at 5, yellow at 6 and red at 7 minutes. For table topics, the time limit is 1 to 2 minutes. I'll flash green at 1, yellow at 1.5 and red at 2 minutes. For evaluation, the time limit is 2 to 3 minutes. I'll flash green at 2, yellow at 2.5 and red at 3 minutes. I'll come back, I'll present my report towards the end of the meeting. Thank you.
One among the Super 6 is, she's an enthusiastic person who will be helping us out how to be effective speaker by keeping a tab on unnecessary sounds or filler or repetitive words. She believes courage gives us the ability to put aside our fear of failure and take the difficult steps. She is none other than Toastmaster Sanjana. Request you to read the guidelines.
As the art counter, I will be listening very carefully to the use of open pauses and short words such as you know, and repetitive words or phrases. I will keep the track of everyone and report at the end of the meeting on who best controls the use of filler words. This evaluation starts at the beginning of the meeting and ends at the adjournment.
Thank you, Toastmaster Sanjana. Last but one, we have an author amongst us who has volunteered to help all of us to improve our grammar and vocabulary. He believes courage is must to achieve a goal, but he says goal without a plan will remain as a dream. He is none other than Associate Sergeant at Arms of previous term, Toastmaster Shreyas Johan. Request you to explain your role, please, as a grammarian.
Thank you, Toastmaster Teresa. As grammarian, I'm responsible for introducing the word of the day. Today's word of the day is candid. Showing people acting in a natural way because they do not know that they are being photographed. Another usage of the word is candid, frank. In a candid new memoir, the actor reveals his struggle with addiction. I will record the participants who properly use the word of the day. Furthermore, I will comment on the use of the English language throughout the course of our meeting. Over to you, Toastmaster Teresa.
Thank you very much. Now, to listen, we need to make a conscious effort not to just hear that what people are saying, but to take it in, digest and understand. To do this role, we have an important person amongst us, our founding member of this club, who is going to explain this role. He believes courage is important to excel beyond own limitation. He is none other than Wilson D'Souza, I request you to kindly let us know your name.
Thank you, Teresa. Toastmasters educational program is founded on three important principles: better thinking, better speaking, and better listening. So all these three are important to develop and improve our communication skills. Today my role is to watch the important aspect mentioned by those who come to the first stage here, and how many of you have grasped. At the end, I'll give my report, and don't mind if I ask you some questions about what you have listened. If you don't listen, you'll be missing a lot from this meeting. Madam Teresa.
Thank you very much for that. This was the starting of this meeting. The main course will be done as Toastmaster of the Day is asking for me to do that. Over to you, Toastmaster.
Thanks so much, Toastmaster Teresa. Now, we are getting the first segment, which I told you, the prepared speech. Alright? So, for every prepared speaker, we have two speakers. Before the first speaker comes online, so we have a evaluator who will read out the guidelines. Now, to give an introduction of this evaluator, now, what do I say? To spice up the whole public speaking things that we have at Toastmasters, we have contests. Alright? A group of clubs join together form an area. Okay? From the club, we had an evaluation contest. This person wins at the club stage. Then he goes to a group of such contestants at area, and again he wins there first. He stands first in that area. A group of areas form something known as a division. Okay, he goes and wins the second place there, which is not an easy feat in any manner. So that is the person who will be evaluating the first speech. I request Toastmaster Aaron Palmer to read out the guidelines.
Thank you so much for the lovely introduction, Toastmaster today. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and guests.
Good evening.
The purpose of the speech is for the speaker to introduce themselves to the club and to learn the basic structure of a public speech. The prescribed time is 4 to 6 minutes. Thank you, and back to the team.
Thank you so much. So, very first speaker joined our short-term course, which is known as Speechcraft. Now, that itself is a big courageous thing to join the short-term Speechcraft course on public speaking. Now, as if that was not enough, usually what happens is, in courage, one thing leads to another. So that's what exactly happens. Now he joins Toastmasters, and this will be his first time on this stage talking about himself. And this is a debut speech. Debut speech at Toastmasters is called the Icebreaker. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome with thunderous applause Toastmaster Chiranth.
Very good evening, fellow Toastmasters and dear guests.
Good evening.
Imagine a towering mountain, roaring waterfalls, a thick forest with wild animals, and a chirping sound of a birds on an early sunrise. Does it sound like a fantasy world? Yes, I was fortunate enough to be born in a small village hidden in the lush greenery of Western Ghats of Karnataka. To put a wide smile on my parents' face, which was short-lived, of course, due to my annoying crying day in, day out. 2 years later, I saw the same happy faces again, this time because of my little sister. Instantly, she took away all the attention, but I was not worried, as I got a little toy to play with. So later on, when I heard the schooling for the first time in my life, I was downhearted. But eventually my parents cleverly convinced me by saying they'll buy me my favorite toys, chocolates, and I'll be able to play with the kids of my own age. I was delighted, but this joy disappeared as soon as my sister said to my mom that mommy, you love him more, and my mother decided to send her to boarding school along with me. She kept my mom up to date with my extracurricular activities, and when I returned home for a holiday, it was turned into a judgment day. My mother always wanted me to be an engineer, but I was never destined to be there, as I was a very bright student in the class. When I was finishing up my 10th grade, I was clueless what to do next. So I approached a person, Vinay. He was a distant relative of mine. He was carrying a single book in his hand, and always he was popular with the girls. So when I approached him, he said, diploma, don't worry, even if you fail in few subjects, you will get promoted next year. So that was all I was looking for. And as obvious, I just enrolled to the diploma and took electronics and communication as my major. Soon I realized that it is not about theory, it is about doing practical things outright. Then I got to know why he was carrying a single book in his hand, curse him. So left with no choice, had to complete my diploma and have taken up the engineering and completed it. Someone was very happy, and I looked at my mom candidly and said, indeed, your son is a bright kid. Next, again, when I graduated from engineering, I was clueless. But this time I decided not to look for an inspiration, but to follow my passion. Not good at programming, decided to be a techie. Initially started by attending interviews by bluffing that I know the answer but I'm not able to recall it. It didn't work out. So then I learned a piece of code and went on to be a techie. As a tech-savvy guy, I just want to bring all the technology to the most deprived people, rural areas and the agriculture. I want to develop products in the agricultural field which could ease people's life. So the most important thing, why Toastmasters? I've made many mistakes in my life. So one of the major things is thinking that the talkative people are braggers who don't know how to work and are not smart. But eventually I realized, believed in that the greatest thing that you should convey is like your work should convey what you're doing. So, but eventually realized that you need to communicate your work in a rightful manner so that a layman can understand it. So when I was looking in, so I found the Bangalore Toastmasters Club. I gathered all my courage and decided to join the Speech Crafter program to improve my communication. There, I not only improved my communication, but also found great friends. And tasted the piece of a winner mentality, I just decided to join Toastmasters Club and improve further. Thank you.
What's the meaning of Chiranth? Does anybody know what's the meaning of Chiranth? Forever, yeah. Chiranth is, forever, or can you tell me the right one? I'm not getting it right. Yeah. That's what exactly you have done, Chiranth. Your speech will be immortal for a long period to come. It is that good. Thanks so much, Chiranth, for this kind of a speech. And for some of the guests, if you join Toastmasters, okay, and you attempt your first speech like this, you get a standing ovation. Right? So the next standing ovation happens at least like around 15 or 20 speeches later, which very few of them really go all the way. By then they drop off. So it's only like less than 10% of the people who really do this first speech go all the way, because it takes a lot of persuasion to get there. Okay. So then let's go from a very Chiranth speech to yet another speech of a courageous person. But before I tell you why this person is courageous, let me introduce as evaluator. Today is an evaluator dhamaka, I would say. I told you, what did I tell you guys? I'm sorry, I'm picking on you guys, most of you guys. So a few clubs forms an area, right? And a few area forms a division. Now, a few divisions form a district. This person is a 4-time evaluation champion in the district itself. Okay, and it's a well-known name, so it's been hard for me to even introduce him. This is a good enough introduction. This is a small slice of what he actually is. So I request Toastmaster Chetna to read the guidelines on behalf of the distinguished Toastmaster Rajdeep Manwani, who will be evaluating the comments.
The purpose of this project is for the members to clearly define how Toastmasters invest in mentoring. The purpose of the speech is for the members to share some aspects of previous experience as a judge.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Chetna. Now, you know what happens? In my company, my CEO told that he had got an order from Burger King. He had something to do with that. No, you're not buying from them anything. Burger King, okay? We have got an order. We are not catering from them. We are not bun makers or anything. This is some software order. Don't worry about what it is. Something. So from Burger King. Now this was to happen on 20th December. Nothing happened. 25th December, nothing happened. You know who was responsible? The legal department. There are people known as corporate lawyers inside legal. They find some mistake or the other. They delay. So what happens if you do not supply the software at this point of time and your software bursts into flames and our Burger King goes up? All those won't happen, but still they'll find something or other. That's fine. Corporate law, you can, but it takes a lot of courage. It takes a lot of courage to marry a corporate lawyer and lead a very peaceful life. That's what the next speaker, Toastmaster George, has attempted. Please welcome Toastmaster.
How many of you have joined Toastmaster to become a better public speaker? Please raise your hands. I request please look around to see the people around you who have come with a similar objective. Most of them. How many of you have come or joined Toastmaster to become a better leader? Please raise your hands. I think same hands are raising. Now will you raise for the last time who has joined the Toastmaster to improve their socializing or networking skills? Thank you. I could classify 3 types of groups who are present here. One group want to develop public speaking skill, second group on the leadership skills, third group on the socializing skills, and many of them have joined Toastmaster to develop all of them. Does it make sense to combine one member within the same group with an advanced member so that he can take himself to excel and to reach his objectives? Yes? No? Yes, definitely. Both will excel each other by learning from each other and they grow. And this is what exactly I'm going to speak about today on the Toastmaster mentoring. Good evening, Toastmasters and all my dear guests.
Good evening.
For me, as a protege, I would like to first introduce how it helped me in my professional and personal career. Secondly, I would talk about why mentoring is very important. Third, as a protege or mentee, how we can best utilize this mentorship to execute our goals and objectives. I joined Toastmaster to improve my leadership skill and communication skills. I was very much fortunate that I was assigned Mr. Robinson sir as my mentor. He's having all the traits of the successful mentor should have. He's very knowledgeable, experienced. He shares his challenges, obstacles, how he has triumphed over. His support is unconditional support and his guidance 24/7. He shows respect to everyone and he makes sure that people around him is well taken care of. And I owe much success to him. I would like to share one of the instances out of many which has happened between us. I entered Toastmaster Bangalore through joining Speechcraft session. And you all know that one of the major challenges to execute 8 prepared speech in 8 consecutive weeks. What happened after my icebreaker speech? I stood blank on the topic what I have to execute on the next week. My mentor Robinson sir had always called post my Speechcraft session, used to connect with me without a miss and used to give ideas and the framework that made my Speechcraft session to build the content for next week, and it made my journey very meaningful, very enjoyable, and I love that journey. Secondly, on my professional front, after completing my MTech in materials engineering, I joined Aeronautical Development Agency as a senior research fellow. I was very much fortunate to have my technical mentor, Mr. Andarpan, who laid a very good foundation, professional foundation in my life. He shares all the aspects of professional career in my life. He given his time, he shared his knowledge unconditionally. And I was very much fortunate to have him who laid a very good professional foundation at the start of my career. Coming to the second point, why the mentorship is very important in our life. Why? Because the mentor is fully knowledgeable, he is experienced, he knows the mentee's strengths and weaknesses which we might have not noticed. And he helps us to develop that strength in our life and diminish all the weaknesses. And a good mentor always inspires and motivates us, as my mentor always does for me. Coming to the third point, as a mentee, how can I best utilize this mentorship to execute my goals and objectives? First thing, I as a mentee, I need to execute my role as well. I need to be earnestness to learn, work hard, and to have an ego on check so that I'll be open to the feedbacks and any comments from a mentor. Also, my inquisitiveness to learn, move beyond my comfort zone and find new information helps me to execute the mentee-mentor relationship and to reach my goals and objectives as well. To conclude, having a good mentor is a shortcut to success if a mentee executes his virtues as well, as he should be goal-oriented, earnestness to learn, hardworking, and move beyond his comfort zone. I would like to end or conclude what mentorship in Toastmaster is. M stands for mindfulness, E stands for energetic, N for nourishing, T for training, O for optimum, R for result. So mindful, energetic, nourishing training for optimum result, what you get in Toastmaster. Thank you. Over to you.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster George. This is a good session actually for all of us to understand that for guests to understand that there is something known as a mentorship program in Toastmasters, and for all of us to connect back with our mentors, and sometimes also understand what this mentorship program is all about. Okay? So thanks so much for elucidating this whole mentorship in a speech of 7 minutes. That's nice. All our speeches are around 5 to 7 minutes, 90% of our speeches. So the problem with this is that after some time at office or wherever, problem or good thing about this is you will start at 5 to 7 minutes and you cannot handle anybody going beyond 7 minutes. Your blood pressure will raise at office or wherever, but you cannot do anything. You'll have to go through that nonsense. So that is the only problem of attending Toastmasters. You are expecting everybody to speak well within time. Doesn't happen. So till everyone joins Toastmasters. Let's wait for such a day. Alright? But now I know that now we have can you please vote for the best speaker? The password is 2022. 2022. Please vote. So for the guests we have this WhatsApp, you don't get it, don't worry. We have this WhatsApp group on which there's a link to vote for the best prepared speaker. We have just 2 speakers today, but that's where it is. So soon after this, we have a short break. During the break, you can contact the person who spoke here. He is also Vice President membership. Okay, so you can contact him if you want to join Toastmasters. And we have very good snacks there. So take the snacks, go out so that we don't get crowded here. Go out, eat, and come back. All right. Now I will show my courage. Okay, small act of courage. This club is 25-year-old, and I will tell the founder of this club something. Toastmaster Robinson, sir, can you please wear your mask properly? See how courageous I am. So for my courage, let's take a 10 minutes break. Ginger tea? That was you had the mint flavor. I had the ginger. None of you had the ginger tea. It was very tasty. Very good. The audience play around with the MC is really good. Yeah. The guests enjoy the ginger tea? Yeah, you did. Oh, excellent. So nice, during winter you have the ginger tea after the nice. So we have come to the mid segment. As I told you, there was prepared speech which gets got over. Then we have something which is known as our own style of extempore. So we have a person who conducts this extempore, and that we call that person as a table topics master, TM. Okay? This is a pretty reasonably challenging role. And for a reasonably challenging role, we have a person who keeps track of things. So this person also, as a table topics master, has to keep track of who needs to speak, what kind of topics should be given to each speaker also. Who other than an aspiring chartered accountant can do this role better? Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome table topics master of the day, Toastmaster Rajanna.
Thank you, Toastmaster Vivek, for such a wonderful introduction. So, I have heard that table topics makes us feel butterflies in the stomach. So, this is my first time as a table topic master. So, even I am feeling the butterflies. So, how do we get out these butterflies? So, there should be an opening, right? Some kind of opening wherein the butterflies will come out. So, those butterflies can be called as fear butterflies, butterflies of fear. So we can send in the courage inside and we can get out all those butterflies by opening our mouth. So this is an opportunity wherein you can open your mouth, think on your feet and present. So this opportunity is given to you to think instantaneously and improve your improvisation. So without further ado, so I would like to call the first speaker. So for the information for the guest, so the time limit should be 1 to 2 minutes. 1 is the minimum and 2 is the maximum. So the first topic, courage is knowing what not to fear. Courage is knowing what not to fear. For this, I would like to call upon Toastmaster Srijit. Is knowing what not to fear.
Good evening, Toastmasters.
Good evening.
Courage is what not to fear. I always felt if you feel freedom, if you feel freedom when if you are very courageous, or if you don't have that fear, so you can do anything. That is what I always feel. But I am not like that. I always fear. I fear to come to stage. I fear to talk to people. I fear to take new challenges. I fear to take. It was like that. So I remember when I came to first time to Bangalore, I saw this traffic and I saw people are driving. I was not knowing two-wheeler driving that time. I was scared. I imagine I'll never drive here. But slowly, I overcome it. How I spoke to my friend, roommate, and he helped me to, whenever get chance, he helped me. And after that, when I wanted to drive car, my roommate, he helped me. Night, he take me in his car and we used to drive. So if you practice, it's not a problem. You fear anything, no problem. But if you have that mind to overcome it, you will be able to do it. So that is my take on that. Thank you.
So to drive the Bangalore roads, we may have fear, but we need a lot of courage, because it's not ordinary roads, it's roads with all the pits. Please be aware of that. So the next topic is start small but start. Start small but start. To give a try, I would like to call guest Suma.
Start small but start. I think to start something, right? Be it your passion or be it any business idea you have in your mind. I think first and foremost we should have the courage to start. And when we start only, we will realize whether it doesn't matter whether we will be successful or is it our cup of tea or not, but at least you will go back with the happiness that at least you start, you tried, you gave your best. So that's it.
So guess Suma started it small, but she will succeed in her life. Our next topic is stop wishing, start doing. Stop wishing, start doing. To try this, I would like to call Toastmaster Vishal. Stop wishing, start doing.
Good evening, Toastmasters and dear guests.
Good evening.
Actually, I gave a speech similar to this on 31st. Don't speak. And we all wish we can be somewhere, do something. But honestly, it's not that far away. It's just one action away. Just one small step will take us 1,000 miles. Because, see, the way I see it, I don't like to write my records. I don't like to write my assignments. But I just have to sit down, put on some good music, take my pen, open the cap, write one word. One word, and I just keep going until the task is done. We don't have to keep wishing, we just have to do. Just take that one leap and you will go where you want to go. Your goals will definitely be achieved. Thank you, Table Topic Master.
So that's a nice tip to all the engineering students how to write a report. So the next topic is, what is the great secret of success? What is the great secret of success? To try this, I would like to call our Toastmaster, Dr. Mohan. What is the great secret of success?
I feel that the great secret of success is hard work. By your hard work, you can achieve whatever you want, like swimming, learning swimming, or pursuing some good course, good education. I am also a good example for this hard work. Like I was actually an average student. I did not think that I would become a doctor. Actually, I was simply reading in PUC. So I got a good marks, and I got Bangalore Medical College, one of the prestigious medical college. I am only the example for the topic which he has given. Thank you very much.
Yes, so your success can be seen by the achievements you have done. So the next topic is, fear is reaction, courage is decision. Fear is reaction, courage is decision. To try this, I would like to call guest Ranjan.
Whenever we approach a problem in life, there are two paths that we can choose. Two paths that we are in control of. One is reacting to a situation, and the other is proactively avoiding it or proactively preparing for it. So, when we say fear is a reaction, it is what we feel on the path to the stage. But courage stems in a different path. Courage stems from the path from that door to whichever seat you are sitting in. Because it takes courage to try and do, to try and take that first step. And sometimes courage can also stem from being candid. 2 months ago, I did not think of coming to join Toastmasters. I definitely knew about the Bangalore Toastmasters chapter. I knew that there were multiple around the world. But a moment with my boss, of all people, in a car was all it took. And all I had to do after that point was be candid, be courageous, and come and speak in front of you all. Thank you.
Such a pleasure to hear, I guess. So the next topic is, success is a journey, not a destination. Success is a journey, not a destination. To try this, I would like to call Toastmaster Chetana.
Good evening. Good evening. Toastmasters and yes, this is my first table topic. Success is journey, not a destination. So right now I am in the path of that journey. Don't know whether I get the destination or not. Just I am trying out each and every path I found interesting, passionate towards it, or which I feel, yes, I want to do something regarding that. or which I like in my life. There are so many bucket lists in my life. Just like my daughter, go for my mountaineering, then go to Mansa Sarovar or tour around the world. So everything, when I reach, I feel that yes, I have got a success reaching that particular destiny. So I keep on changing my destiny. It is not like that a single destiny is there in my life. I keep on changing the destiny, and I feel that by the end of my life, I may fulfill all my bucket lists. Thank you. Over to you.
So welcome to the W. So the next topic is success is not the key to happiness. Happiness is the key to success. Success is not the key to happiness. Happiness is the key to success. So to try this, I would like to call guest Pratik.
Okay, so the topic is success is not the key to happiness, but happiness is the key to success. It reminds me of the topic money does not make you happy. Something on similar lines. It's also like the destination. The destination is
The journey is more important than the destination.
yeah, the journey is more important than the destination. So I can't do this.
Can you try? Success is no accident.
Success is no accident.
Yeah, that'd be easy.
Okay. Yeah, it was a long topic to remember. I was getting confused. Okay, so success is not an accident. So if you look at any successful people in the world we have today, if you take a Warren Buffett, you take Elon Musk, you take Steve Jobs, for example, all of them have worked really, really hard in order to reach where they are. They've put in a lot of hours and a lot of energy to reach where they are and to do what they wanted to do. So it's not an accident. You have put in a lot of hard work and a lot of energy in order to achieve what you want. So that's it.
So the next topic is behind every successful person there is. Behind every successful person there is. To try this, I would like to call Toastmaster Jainam. Behind successful person there is.
Behind every successful person, there is always another successful person. The thing is that before, for instance, before Einstein came up with his theory of relativity, you needed to know that gravity existed. Newton's theory of gravity was wrong, but it was incomplete, but you needed to know that existed for Einstein to succeed. Isaac Newton once said that if I have seen the depths of the ocean, it is by standing on the shoulders of the giants. So behind every successful person, there is another successful person. And that kind of success keeps accumulating on, and it
build something great.
I thought Jaina will say woman. Okay. So I thank the committee for giving me this opportunity. So over to Toastmaster.
So there is one trick for anybody who struggles for tabletop. It's not a good trick to speak extempore in life, but at Bangalore Toastmasters Club, come prepared for 2-3 topics: happiness and success. The most of it. Somebody tells you something about sadness or career, tie it to happiness, or something else, tie it to success, and you should be more or less fine. Okay, that's just a cheat sheet for Bangalore Toastmasters Club, not in life. Right? So let's now go ahead and look forward to you all are looking forward to the feedback from a different perspective. So let's welcome on stage Toastmaster Teresa Matta for a general evaluation.
Can I quickly have everyone vote for their state topics in the meanwhile? The passcode is 2022.
I'll give you 30 seconds for it. Done? Good evening once again. I have come for the main menu now. For the benefit of guests, general evaluation, my role, I've divided into 3 parts. First part is to get candid evaluation. Second is call upon my team and to get their report. And third, and finally, I shall give my general evaluation, the overall meeting. Before I call my first evaluator, may I please call Toastmaster Sakshi to give us the time taken by the prepared speakers only. Later you can omit that.
Toastmaster Chiranth took 4 minutes 55 seconds. Toastmaster George took 6 minutes 25 seconds. So both within range.
Thank you, Toastmaster Sakshi. Our first evaluator believes that the courage starts by showing up and taking a small step and not necessarily by doing big things. Join me to welcome our VPPR of last term who mesmerized us with candid club newsletter and also the star performer award winner of previous term, Toastmaster Aaron Kamath.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters, guests, and Chiranth in particular. Befitting with the theme of today's meeting, I'm going to take a boxing analogy. This page here was your boxing ring, and in line with the theme, you took your first steps to the boxing ring. The first step on your path to success, the first step on your Toastmasters journey. So many, many congratulations on that, Toastmaster Chiranth. Now, just like Muhammad Ali walked out at 22 to take on his first professional boxer, he made a few mistakes, but he also did brilliantly well on certain points. So I want to focus on 3 of your strongest moves that you showed us in the boxing ring today. You could call it a jab, an uppercut, and then the knockout punch. The 3 things that I like the most about your speech, Toastmaster Chiranth, is firstly the softer points. You were amazingly comfortable on the stage. You used the entire boxing ring to move about, to talk to the entire audience. You showed hand gestures to exemplify your points, even to describe certain events, taking us back to your childhood. You were very, very comfortable and aware of the audience eyes on you on the stage. So congratulations on that. There was clarity in what you were saying. I intentionally sat in the last row. I could hear all of what you were describing. That is the first strength. The second one is in line with the objectives of the speech, which is the structure of the speech and actually introducing yourself to the club. Now, how did that go? Again, very, very well. You started off by telling us about where you're from, your childhood, growing up, your siblings, your school, your education, some of the career choices you made, and some of the challenges that you face at work. Now, I got to know who you are, your background, and it was a lovely introduction to the club, and you structured your speech in a marvelous manner. So lovely job on that as well, and for completing the objectives of the speech. The third positive that I took away is how, even though it was your first speech, you had the confidence to come out and, without saying anything, you described the surroundings of where you were born. That goes waves and waves in capturing the audience interest. Everybody expects a salutation and then for you to start with a fact about yourself. But you made me wonder, okay, where was this boy born? And then you said that it was in the Western Ghats of Karnataka. That held me enthralled in the rest of your speech. Now, a couple of areas I thought you could learn and improve on is you don't necessarily have to go in a chronological order. You could have picked some of the moments in your life that I want to know, how I will remember you. Some anecdotes or some memories or something funny that may have happened to you, which I may want to know beyond a biography of your life events. And the second one is that you ended on a slightly abrupt way. You stopped and you said thank you, you walked away. So maybe end on a positive way, or end by nodding to the audience or getting somewhat of a reaction. So I'd stop there, and you definitely delivered a knockout on your very first professional debut in the boxing ring. Congratulations and all the best for the rest of your Toastmasters.
Thank you, Toastmaster Aaron, for this candid evaluation. No doubt, you were risen from our club to area to division, and of course, next try for district. All the best. Nothing to add to your evaluation for the board. Kindly applaud to both our icebreaker speaker and evaluator. Our next evaluator, who is going to evaluate Toastmaster George DSA's speech, he is. Should I? No. Timer will show my card if I have to tell something about him, because list will go on. Not only from club, area, division, district. Now next is going to international level. He says about courage. Nothing is ventured, nothing is gained. Please listen to our evaluator, Dr. Rajdeep Manwani, for the speaker of the
Fellow Toastmasters, General Evaluator and George DSA in particular. Today we are attempting a topic on the importance and the application of mentoring in your dynamic leadership path. Now, what struck me most about your speech was your opening and your closing. You opened with questions and you told people to look around, and that captured the attention. Involvement is the best way in which you can evolve your speech. So you opened with questions, and the ending was with a wonderful acronym for the word mentor, where you say mindful, energetic nourishment to achieve optimum results. So you had a great opening, you had a great close. So you gave a punch at the beginning and a punch at the end, which made you come out of the boxing ring. So fantastic. The second thing which you did brilliantly was the structure of your speech. You had a brilliant structure. You said, I'm going to divide my speech into 3 parts. One, I'm going to talk about some examples of my mentor. Second, I'm going to speak about what is the importance of mentoring, and the third is what you have to do as a protege. So you had that structure laid out brilliantly. So a good structure is like a skeleton system. Now these two were the main parts which struck me brilliantly. Now what could you have done better? Now remember, examples are the pills which make your speech more vital and more energized. You gave only 2 examples, only in the first part. Robinson sir, when I was finding it difficult for my speech craft to give 8 at a row, and he made my journey more enjoyable. So was Robinson sir your enjoyment partner or your teaching partner? I was a little confused about that, right? So Gibbon and Robinson sir inspired me to give speech after speech, and then my journey was the success with which I was mentored. Or my technical mentor taught me so many things, so that now whatever I am, I am because of him. So the examples are important. And the second thing which I want you to do is, whenever you are asking questions, the first 3 questions were raise your hand. The third question is, don't you think it's better? And the audience had to answer. And they were a little confused. They were wondering, because once I had asked a question, I'm going to tell you all a joke, and somebody from the audience stood up and said, you tell whatever you want, we'll decide whether it's a joke or not. Correct? So ask questions in a standard manner. Otherwise, you are an amazing speaker about a mentor. Just a little bit of candid examples will make you a punter. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Rajdeep Parmani, for this candid evaluation, pepped with humor and also the education. Members, applaud to both the speaker and the evaluator. Please take 30 seconds to vote the best evaluator. The voting code is 2022 2022. Done? Yes, we are done with the evaluation round as well as the voting, and now shall move to the reports of my team, timer, accounter, grammarian and listener. To start off, let me call timer of the day, Toastmaster Sakshi. Kindly give your report.
Hello again. In terms of prepared speeches, Toastmaster Chiranth and Toastmaster George both stick to their limits. In terms of evaluator, Toastmaster Aaron exceeded by 45 seconds. Toastmaster TM George did stick to the limit. In terms of table topics, nobody exceeded the time limit. There were few alterations in terms of speaking less than the time limit. Guest Subha, Toastmaster Vishal, Toastmaster Dr. Mohan, Guest Pradeep and Toastmaster Jainam did speak for less than 1 minute. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Sakshi. Toastmaster Sanjana to present our counter report.
The word was used 29 times in the meeting. So was used 31 times in the meeting. The word and was used 17 times in the meeting. Okay was used 7 times.
Thank you. Thank you. I would like to tell you one area of improvement is we have come here to improve ourselves. So if you would tell us who has done, who has used this how many times, we would improve in our next meeting. Please take a note for the next time.
I think she is doing for the first time.
Okay. Yeah, we all come here to learn. This is a new learning to you as well as whoever is taking our counter for the next time. Now let us see whether our English professor is on his records. Toastmaster Shreyas Johan.
Thank you so much, Gentleman of the Day. At evenings, Toastmasters present share failures. I'll start with the good usages that we use today. Genesis of all this, you should have a fearless attitude, a small slice of actually who he is, diminishes all the weakness, act of courage, butterflies of fear, think on your feet. Is it art of key or not? Courage can take a strength of candid, hand gestures to exemplify points, held me and throughout the speech. Some bad usages are not so good usages. Single book, a book. Soon I realized soon, found a great friend, found great friends. I entered Toastmasters Bangalore. I entered Bangalore Toastmasters. He has given his time, learn swimming. And the word of the day, candid, which is used by many people. That is our president, Toastmaster Hannah, our prepared speech given by Toastmaster Chiranth, a guest and TM Toastmaster, distinguished Toastmaster Razik Manwani and distinguished Toastmaster Teresa, who used the word candid thrice.
Thank you, Toastmaster Shreyas. I was expecting the example for this word of the day, example sentence when you were reading out this word. Never mind, we all come here to learn, as I said. We will do it better and better and better as the meeting goes on. Now, let us see how alert we were. And here, as the headmaster, Toastmaster Robinson D'Souza, as a listener.
Try to recall who said this. Courage is a complicated word. Right. Toastmaster Vivek Vijayan. This is my first table topics. You already remember it. I got a little toy to play with. Chiranth. Involvement is the best way to involve your audience. Sir. Immortal words, Mr. Rajdeep. You learn a lot from him. Thanks a lot for being with us. I have made many mistakes in my life. Be bold. Chiranth. She wants to be little more mindful.
Said by
Chaitra said about Hannah. Somebody remembered his master. What was his master's name?
Mohan.
Mohan master. Who said it? Vivek. You have to go through that nonsense. Vivek Vijayan. Thank you very much.
Another round of applause for my team, TAGL. Yes. Without these 6 stars, this meeting or this evaluation wouldn't have been complete. Now, let me move to the general evaluation. As I came in by 6:10, board was getting ready, standing was ready, awards were ready, the ribbons, this whole all was ready for the meeting. Was treated with a smile. Who is the reason for this? Sergeant at Arms Chaitra. What we need to give her? She introduced Madam Toastmaster in a very slow, steady, in a very good English language. Of course, energy we cannot say. You should have a great energy. speaking with the voice modulation. No need to have gesture because it depends on people to people, person to person. Of course, energy, I felt, as my opinion, energy was a little low, but still, it's the first meeting of this term, Chaitra. For next meeting, raise this bar to another level and be more confident, more powerful, and don't forget to name your Madam President as Toastmaster Hannah Victoria. That was missing. Yes, next came our President, Madam Hannah Victoria, gave her personal experience and opened the meeting with power. She asked to read the minutes of meeting, and our secretary, Toastmaster Kirtana, with ever smiling face, read her minutes of meeting. I felt she said from her heart. She had a beautiful smile. She looked at each and every one, and she giggled when she said her own name, when she said Kirtana, Sergeant at Arms. And she took us back to that meeting and continued even the installation in a very precise manner. For doing such a great job, Secretary Toastmaster Kirtana needs wonderful gesture of Madam President. She welcomed with applaud the guest first, then asked the guest to introduce. A lovely gesture. I was really touched by that, Madam President. I also liked your personal experiences when you give in 2 instances your mother-in-law. So when your mother-in-law, Vasmati, had one small giggle. I don't know what came to her mind, but she was wrong when she said plus point about mother-in-law, and her face was a little drawn, but you made that humor again, brought and made us all to be in this present by giving your personal story. And declare, I said already, meeting number 1306, I request you as a feedback to, I think you can bang it more, I just tried. And one kind of dhadak happens, and the meeting opens, and we all get that off feel. Yes, Madam Toastmaster, you can just, Madam President, you can just have that. It's my opinion. Then coming to our Toastmaster of the day, Toastmaster Vijayan. He is not only our past president, not only a Best Evaluator Award winner for the previous term, he is, I can say in Kannada, what is it? Atmanirbhar, and also one kind of good Samaritan, we say, Apat Bandhava. This is outside of this meeting, or outside of today's meeting. I just wanted to tell you all people, we can rely upon him, bank upon him, count upon him any number of times, because recently for this installation ceremony also, this keynote speaker couldn't come, and just 6 hours prior to that we came to know, and he arranged a keynote speaker within few hours. And today's, he was supposed to be evaluator, again 6, I don't know 6, some his favorite number, or I don't know what connection between 6 and Vivek Vijayan. He just 6 hours prior, he came to know he has to do this role, and you all see how he did with his humor, his stubbornness. From CC1 to CC10, all he learned, he used everything here with the body language, the humor, eye contact, everything. Kudos to you, Toastmaster Vivek Vijayan. Only one feedback, what I have to give you is, I don't know, but I did not hear the title of the speeches of both the speakers. I don't know, I did not hear, If it is given, it is okay. If it is not given, whoever takes next TMOD. Please remember to call out the speaker's name, title of the speech, make it underlined. So what shall we give to Toastmaster Vivek? And next comes our table topic master, Toastmaster Rajanna. Thank you, Toastmaster Rajanna. Thank you for the simple topics. Thank you for informing what the table topic is. This foundation was laid by Toastmaster of the day anyhow. For each role he had already given. On that you stood and explained so that you guessed it was very easy. You called the topic first, then the speaker, I liked it. You called the members first, then they gave the chance to guess so that they too can gauge what, where, how I can do it. Very well, loud enough, simple enough. What more? What more? Anybody is expecting more than this? There was signal line in between each speaker. So that speaker when he goes, no, you could see some kind of smile, especially a guest. He was bringing from this year to that year. So he felt very happy or elevated by table topic master. Anybody I left? No. But in summarize, I would like to thank both my evaluators, the candid evaluators. With first evaluator Aaron, he gave a beautiful analogy, boxing analogy, and we could bring how that ring. I mean, it was amazing. And our model statement of Dr. Rajiv Manwani, where we can carry until we reach home, of course, even until the next meeting. And my fourth tag team, thank you. Thank you for everyone. And one more thing I want to tell you. Today's impromptu role takers are timer Sakshi. The previous timer could not, and just she took the role yesterday. And our listener, Robinson D'Souza, after coming to the venue, anyhow, Toastmaster of the day, already I said, another evaluator also after coming to the venue, because of all these changes, because of all this, we are all like a family. We have gathered to do this meeting wonderful. It has become wonderful. Thank you, one and all. Over to you.
Thank you so much, TM Teresa. Teresa has a very nice, empathetic way of evaluation. You can also say that it's significantly sugar-coated because, as far as I was concerned, I think there was a lot of shortcomings, but she was very usually empathetic and very sympathetic to point out those. Thank you so much, TM Teresa. And thank you, all of you, for attending this meeting. This is the first meeting of this year and bearing with me. I have a message. You must be wondering why am I fiddling with it? Why didn't I remove like the rest of the speakers? See, in a classroom setup, you do not have to, you can remove. Okay? If everybody is sitting in a classroom setup, but most of you are facing me and the person here gets it. Or if I have an infection, people who are not covered will get it. So in a classroom setup, you do not have to wear, but if the setup is it's not very fully classroom like these people, you will get it. And 50% of Bangalore is sneezing, so it's very soon that it's very likely that some of us will get it if we are not careful. So please be careful. And thank you so much for bearing with me today. Although my energy was really low because I really am unable to breathe. Thank you so much. Back to you.
Thank you all once again for coming here, and I'm afraid now to remove my mask. Now the voting link for the best role taker is 2022.
note, the next week we will have a business meeting. It will be presented by Toastmaster Pratik, who is the treasurer. And following week, our VP Education has already planned an education session. So we will have an education session, followed by, on the 28th of January, we will have the club contest for the international speech. So the VP Education will post on the group all the details. So we have 3 weeks to prepare, and wishing you all the very best.
Just a quick announcement. The Tata team also
So I didn't get your name. Oh, okay. Please, you can stand and mention your name and how did you come to know about Toastmasters?
Yeah, myself, Sharlot John. Toastmaster I came to know from Raj itself.
Thank you. Welcome to the Bangalore Toastmasters Club.
If you have time, you can call somebody who wants to talk table topics.
Yeah, table topics. Do you have any topics?
Yes.
Okay, come.
You can give.
I can give. Okay. Dr. Rajdeep, for table topics.
I have to give a
Yeah, you can just stand and
No, I have to give a table topic.
take topic. No, I will give it to you.
Why me? Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Your proudest moment.
Okay, I remember when I was counseling a student, and she had actually lost her father, and her mother had married another person, and she had a stepfather, and she disappeared from college suddenly, and she didn't appear. And I used to counsel her every time and tell her, do this, do that, do this, do that, and try and make her feel more comfortable. And then one day, I didn't meet her for several years. I met her at Shobha Developers as the secretary to the managing director. And she told me, sir, if I'm alive, it's only because of you. I felt seriously proud at that time that I had touched at least one life.
The next topic would go to Dr. Toastmaster Vasmati. What is the biggest lesson you learned in life?
Right. So since today's talk theme is of courage, so I will tell a personal story, very personal story. So I fell in love. And me being me, I was very candid about my feelings, and I went and told the gentleman, look, I like you. And he just said, ha ha, and brushed it off. And then, me being me again, I pursued a little bit. And I wasn't getting a concrete answer from him. And I felt that I was being, tagged along for a while. And finally, I said something and he said, we should talk about it in person. And that meeting never happened. And so I reflected on the way in which I reacted to how I felt and the way in which he reacted to me. I don't know how he felt. So I feel what I did was courage. I felt something and I had the courage to talk about it. And I have a strong feeling what he did was reaction. I think somebody else, we also spoke about, courage being the decision. So, what was the topic again?
The biggest
the lesson that I learned was that closure is a luxury that not everybody can afford to give. It's something that only few people can give. So that was the lesson that I learned from the whole process. Thank you.
Thank you. It's time to now announce the awards. The best Taggle team player goes to Toastmaster Robinson D'Souza. The best role taker award goes to the Darak DTM Teresa Martha. The best table topic speaker goes to our Vice President, Public Relations, Toastmaster Jenna. The best evaluator goes to Dr. DTM Rajdeep Manwani. And the best speaker goes to Toastmaster George DSA. I thank, on behalf of the committee, I thank each of you for making it here, because it was, we were on a note that we were taking a chance with this meeting, and I really thank each one of you for being here, for making it a success, and on that note, taking the general evaluator's advice, with a Darak note, I adjourn meeting 1306.